Season 3 premiere, Episode 1, with my friend Joseph Frank. Like the hot dogs. You know, like Frank's. You know what I mean. What else should I say for this introduction that's supposed to stay relevant? The rest of the season is Anthony Randazzo next, Daniel and Ryan for episode 3, Christian, Sterling, Brandon Pisano and Hannah, Liz and Hannah, and a special controversy episode. And hopefully some pre-shifts in between. But you can listen to all of this at microwaveminutes.com and everywhere you find podcasts. And let's roll into it. We're rolling it again. Episode 29. I'm here with a very special guest. He flew all the way to Chicago just for this episode.
Also, your second take sounds like your 79th take.
And we are here with Joseph, with my friend Joseph. I'm going to call you Joseph Frank because your website says it as such.
That's the artist name I keep trying, but people keep just trying to use my real name.
I don't know. Yeah, what's up with that? Using real names, huh? I feel like as a creative individual, it is difficult to identify yourself and then have other people identify you the same way.
Absolutely. There was a phase, though, where I feel like people would call each other by their Instagram names before they actually knew them.
That is very much a thing. Some people, not some people, I have several Instagram accounts, not for any particular reason.
Constantly changing, too.
Constantly changing. But the ones that are constantly changing, people like to refer to me as such. And they always go, "What's with that?" And I'm like, I have one that doesn't really change. You could just call me by that one. That one works too.
When Chef Juice was a thing, that's all I wanted to call you.
Chef Juice does work. Chef Juice works. I don't prefer to be called that anywhere outside of a DIY venue.
Okay. Good to know.
But no, before we get into this, Joseph, I just want you to know I'm happy that you're here. I'm excited for our little chat today. It's pretty late. It's the middle of the week. I'm assuming we both have things to do tomorrow.
Yeah, of course.
So this is going to be fun. You know, we'll unpack some stuff, maybe pack some stuff in. And this is the Microwave Minutes. This is the return of the Microwave Minutes because we've got a lot of exciting guests coming. We have a lot of exciting things to talk about. And I will shout out Adam at Requiem for a Tuesday as the kind of the production lead, I guess. He's the leading man in the RFAT audio network. So you can follow him at adam.rfat. You can follow me at 3Js Justice, Justis. I think there's an underscore there. But there's not many people named Justice in Chicago, so it'll be easy to find if you're listening to this and you live within the vicinity. Where can they find you, Joseph?
These days, if you want to follow Joseph Frank Co., pretty easy, spelled how it sounds. Yeah, I'm active on Instagram still, still also debating whether I even want to be, that whole thing. Yeah.
But I guess while we're on the topic, let's talk about social media.
Oh.
Let's do it. I think
Okay, I have a theory about social media recently that I'm kind of proud of.
This is why we're here.
Man, okay, so obviously everybody feels that it's become way too commercialized. It's not the old Instagram. You want to go back, like there's some sort of crazy digital time machine.
Yeah.
But let's just take the now. And I think it would help a lot of people to examine this digital landscape as a party, right? It's social media. social media now is like a party, except you have multi-level marketing salesmen coming into the door um, every time you turn the lights on, or every beer that gets open, a new multi-level marketing. And I'm talking about the ads, all of the promoted content. And not only that, right? If that actually happened at your party, you'd be pretty upset. You would kick them out. But we're like, okay, the ads, whatever. We'll just like deal with it, keep going. But then you have this like post influencer phase where people are still selling things and tagging things, and it's as if you're at this party and the multi-level media person or one stealing your language. They're saying all the cool things that you're saying, and you're actually buying into it. And now you're talking like them, and now you want to sell, and it's just like it's a pretty shitty party. And that's where I'm at with social media. And all of us are like, you want to go somewhere else? And you're like, yeah, MySpace is closed though, dude. Facebook, I think people are literally sleeping there. And there's just nowhere else to go, and we're trapped here at this terrible social media party.
The landscape has changed significantly. So, like, the way that those marketers have come in and like swept the rug out is, in my opinion, temporary. I don't think that companies are going to continue to invest as much time into those paid ads. They're going to figure out other ways to be on social media, but I don't think that they're going to continue to be bringing you new beers and bringing you all these new things. I think they're going to find another way, and it has to do with, I think that there's a way to get influencers involved into what they're doing and like almost like mask it a little bit more, because they already know that we're catching on.
Sure.
Like they know that we don't like it, in my opinion, and it's.
Yeah, but some of us rely on that. When I invite you to a free event, you don't care that it's sponsored. You care that you're getting free beers.
Yep.
And that hasn't changed.
There's a podcast right now called Advertising Will Save Us that kind of talks about that topic as a whole, which is, it's really fun to hear because the people that are running it are, six-figure advertising agent, people bringing in, other six-figure people that are like, it's all good, like you should totally stay on it, like the Liquid Death VP or president or something like that,
selling water.
Yeah, and he talks about like that vision, and he talks about his vision behind the water, and about the fact that their branding is doing well because it almost seems like it's like tongue-in-cheek in a way.
For sure. And
because that's like, to me, that's the forefront of social media right now, is brands like that. Mm-hmm. They're still placing ads. They still are relevant, and nobody's really sick of them yet, but it's just water. That's the thing, but his whole vision is like, we're going to make it cool. That's the goal. But what happens when it's not cool anymore? Yeah. They're going to find other ways to implement it into, I think they're kind of doing it now too. I feel like that's a technique, right? That's a strategy, is to have influencers buy your stuff like that, or give them your stuff. Like that's definitely already a technique or a strategy, but they're going to find another way for us to not even realize that it's all over still. Either way, I'm totally in agreement. It is just a bad party. That is true.
But in a game of appearances, I mean, that's why Liquid Death works.
Yeah.
That's why we want it. That's why we're kind of chill sometimes, playing the whole I hate capitalism, right? Anyway, I found this thing.
How about all these things?
Got a stupid targeted ad, but I did get it, and it was okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm such a sucker for those. I bought a bunch of them.
Yeah, this like self-deprecating, casual acceptance of capitalism. I don't even want to compare it to the awful things that.
Have you fell victim to such?
Absolutely. Actually, I'm like swinging so far to the left, I think, in my current state in life, that I had a realization where I was gonna tag a company. I was like, yeah, this is really cool. Like a great local spot too. You know, support local businesses. And then I was like, what's the deal with that? Why is that like a knee-jerk reaction? Like I can't just enjoy something. I have to feel like I have to pay tribute. Like, so this experience was brought to you by other
Yeah.
small business as me,
Smaller.
smaller. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. You know, the idea, maybe some of them are like more people should enjoy it. I want this thing to keep existing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, don't you feel like it comes from a place of like, I'm helping them, like I'm the savior by being the ad for them. And that just means they get more customers. So what happens when a small business stops being small because everybody's doing their job and tagging them?
What happens is
You know, it's now you're the one fake tagging Prada in your ad like you did a shoot for them.
that is the ecosystem of tagging is very real, and I really don't think that they look at it. You know what I
No.
mean? Like they don't really. It's just it's a blip in their timeline ultimately for the bigger companies.
Yeah.
It's insane because I've really felt the same way about a lot of posts.
Yeah.
Like to get specific about it, there's just like so many times like the same thing. Like you question it. You're swinging left, but really like people that are swinging right probably feel the same way about certain things. You know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is not me hating on small businesses. Obviously, I love small businesses, but I question this weird cultural thing that we do.
There's This is just also about one platform. That's the thing. And it's like really hard for me to grasp the gravity of the situation that is social media. It's like really hard to think about. I can't spend a lot of time on them. It like stresses me out
Yeah.
in a sense where and there's so many like self-help like put your phone down and like, you know, spend less time, and it's like I listen to that in the back of my mind, but you know you still spend some time scrolling on a few of them.
Yeah. I mean, I got off TikTok. That's just done. Any of the new stuff, I'm not for. But I have this weird feeling like if I stop posting on social media, on Instagram, people are gonna think I'm dead. Maybe. If I'm being honest, like,
So
his career's over. He's dead. That's it.
to our folks listening at home, Joseph lived in Chicago for a few years, moved here from where was it again?
Jersey.
Jersey.
New Jersey on the shore.
Jersey to Chicago, and now he lives in Europe, in Amsterdam. So just to bring you up to speed, I probably would think that too. If you just stopped sharing things, I would be
Right.
like, is he okay? It's been several months.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if I'm being honest, like, as much as I hate it, love it, it's in the past. My history with Instagram was weird. Like, I just didn't have one. Friends convinced me. I think I was working at a mall at the time, and I remember being one of those people that's like,
Did you work at Auntie Anne's?
no, I worked at a little clothing store, an Australian clothing store.
I'm not gonna guess what that is, but okay.
But I remember thinking my friends were so stupid, and I downloaded it and I posted like a picture of me. It was these coworkers that convinced me to download it. We were on the drive home, and I remember taking my first Instagram picture and just being super cynical, like, this traffic is so poetic. Because that's like, I was like, what are people going on Instagram and posting their random life moments for? I didn't get it.
That was whack. We're back. That song is called Country Girl. It's on my new record.
It's on your new record.
Yeah, it's coming out. I don't know when it's coming out. It's not done yet.
I was
It's
like,
going to
I've
be
never
called
heard
Thank God for Twitter, though.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Yeah, this whole 20-minute discussion was just to plug my new record.
What? This feels like social media after all.
Yep. It absolutely is. Yeah.
There's another platform, YouTube, and I don't know if you still watch YouTube besides these passive, beautiful skate videos.
Shout out Deep Dish.
That's just it makes me feel at home just seeing people skate in the background. Yeah. So there are.
So wait, do you are you a fan of Rob Dyrdek? Was that your like
when I was like
your
12?
age? That was
Yes.
who was popping, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. He's a really. I have a lot of respect for him.
He seemed like such a big joke, but
it seemed like he was just this goofy dude. No, dude, he was making millions off of his stuff, and he talks about it on his 9 Club episode. And this isn't a plug because you should try it if you like skateboarding because everybody comes through the 9 Club, and Rob Dyrdek just did one. It's a 3-hour episode where he's got all the tips and tricks. He's like a life coach now.
All right.
Yeah, it's like I recently got back into because same thing. Like skateboarding was like big when I was a kid. Like those were my only friends when I was younger, and like I kind of fell out of that. And like now that I have a little bit of domesticated lifestyle, as soon as I really locked that in, I was like, I'm gonna start skating again just to feel at home. And it's like it's been great. It's such a good workout. It's good for your brain, and I honestly I don't have much of a social aspect to it, but there is a social aspect to it for sure. Like as a whole, there's so many communities in Chicago specifically.
It's oddly the one like subculture that hasn't really died.
Yeah,
and I don't hear a lot of people complaining about it. And I still see it on, like when I was on TikTok for a minute, I was like, dang, like people are still rocking this and inventing new things, and it's really cool, and it still means something to culture. And there's still things today that I see people doing that feel like it's really more of like a nostalgia ritual.
Yeah,
skating is not one of them.
Yeah, they're always reinventing.
Yeah,
they're reinventing the wheel for what is also, in my opinion, like the intersection of arts and culture, fashion. Like skateboarding seems to always be right there. If they're not hitting, if they're not like in a Louis Vuitton ad or something, like they're in like a little bit of a smaller brand, or they're always doing. Somebody's got a skateboard in all of this, in all of our advertising now. It's like, it's exciting. Like, and every time I see it, like when I was younger, I'd be like, that's dumb, that's lame. But like now, I'm like, that's so nice.
Absolutely. I still follow Boo Johnson. I don't know if you follow Boo. He's a skater. There's probably billions of skaters that have come and gone, but he's one of those to me that's like, he's like the Snoop Dogg of skating. I just thoroughly
I know who that
enjoy
is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a cruise and all sorts of stuff. Like, I don't know labels or magazines.
I can't keep up either.
But I'm very entertained, and I think he's extremely talented. And then obviously through that, and you have social media accounts like 4Down or something that you can just watch a specific type of skating.
Yeah. I have yet to really get into like vert skating. I don't know. It's just like not my thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like what is trendy is just like the street skating, and like that, like early 2000s fashion is coming in, which is fun and I'm down with. But I'll probably get into vert as I get a little older. There's a really cool.
so that is such an interesting statement. As I get older.
Yeah, I don't think like that
you're
I'll
13
ever
and
get
you're like,
tired of it.
Maybe when I'm in high school, I'll do vert.
Maybe I have been putting it off for that long, and that's really what I've been missing in my life. But there's a really cool. I can't remember. It's like I'm not gonna remember the name. It's a church that they turned into a skate park in St. Louis, and
Oh,
it's got a mega half pipe. It's like the biggest half pipe I've ever skated. It's
that's
like
amazing.
really cool. Cathedral ceiling, like super decked out, but also every ramp is just like spray painted with a bunch of shit, and it's just like so cool. That's
There's a place in Amsterdam called Skate Cafe, and so if you have churches turning into like skate parks, now you have skate parks turning into nightclubs, and it's a techno club. And imagine literally as a DJ in the middle of the skate park, and you have just hundreds of people falling off of these vertical. They're standing too, but I mean they try to
but
dance,
because of how many people, like people just like kind of slide off.
and it's so fun to watch. And it's not like because they're dumb, they know what's gonna happen.
Right.
But to be able to just vibe to techno and just like be on a ramp, uh, yeah.
That's really sick. What? I have a lot of questions about Amsterdam.
No.
I've never been. I've never been.
Back to skating. The one thing I want to say is I feel like in Chicago, you kept it alive in such a way that also I felt like somebody at my age couldn't skate because I'm old now and I'm not professional, so there's no need for it.
Yeah.
But just seeing you around, like, I don't know, it brought an energy, and I feel like skating, whatever, keeping it alive, it really does something to what you feel about living in an urban environment is seeing people skate.
That's very interesting. Are there a lot of people skating in Amsterdam?
It's bricks on.
Yeah, I did. I would
No.
imagine it's not easy.
Every now and then you'll see spots, and
Yeah.
like the spots, and they look like Tony Hawk maps because it's just like an isolated.
They're the only thing that's solid concrete in
Right.
the area.
Right.
They had to ship in the concrete, basically.
Literally.
So you're now working for a company in Amsterdam, or they're not located there?
It's a fully remote company started
Okay.
by a Norwegian guy in 2015. Like before remote work was really a big thing.
Yeah.
He kind of had this vision of like I don't know, equitable work for everybody.
Just because remote is the move.
Yeah. So in my company, it's across like 6 continents, and everybody can get paid a fair rate, like at a
Wow.
global standard.
Is there? Do you have any? What are your recommendations for working from home? I'm assuming that you don't work all day long
Don't work
just
from
at
home.
home.
Yeah, that's like.
Because that's the thing. If you work remotely, you're chilling for. Also, wait. So your hours are probably weird, right?
No, again, dude, this is like one of the. I feel like I'm working at a future company
That's so sick.
because the way they've structured it, one, it's not a traditional agency. It's called creative as a service. So the way a SaaS company operates is software as a service.
Yeah.
This operates that way with creative. Yeah. I'm like sitting here trying to not talk about my job, but I actually think like the makeup of it is blowing my mind because I was a freelancer for so long.
Yeah.
And when you have ideas like how do I expand this? I had little ideas here and there, like maybe I assemble a team. I have people on a Slack channel I can just hit up whenever I have extra work.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. But essentially, once you're in the circle and you're full time, but once you're in the circle of the job, you feel like an internal freelancer in a way because you can bid on certain clients we're getting in. They build like a little team for each client. And maybe on one project, I'm working with these 5 people. The next, I'm working on, somebody I'm familiar with, and then 4 other people. But it's structured on the time zones based on that client. So I actually have a lot of U.S. clients, and I have some European clients. But I'll strategically kind of pick my team where it's like I have a designer over in Mexico, and then I have a designer over in South Africa. Because they occupy 2 totally different time zone fields where one can actually be doing work overnight if there's a rush job, and then one can be delivering the work in the morning and managing the adjustments.
Wow.
So it manages literally a 24-hour time span of capability.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the way you think about creative work
Yeah.
And creatives need that freedom
Yeah.
to not sit at a desk 9 to 5
Yeah.
and just be given the trust that like,
Right.
you're going to get this done. Here's your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like even better, you'll be awake when I'm asleep.
Yeah. You'll be working when I'm asleep. That's very
So yeah, to answer the full question, like
yeah, you didn't answer the question.
time
Where do
zones
you
aren't an
hang
issue.
out, when you're doing this?
Yeah.
What's the moves? What's the moves in what's the AM? They call it AM or is it AD? Amsterdam.
Oh,
How do they shorten it? AMD.
Okay, the secret is people call it Mokum.
The secret's out, folks.
That's the secret.
Here at the Microwave Minutes.
Yeah.
The secrets are here.
We call it Adam.
Okay.
Like Adam. Like I don't know. It's just like Amsterdam A dam.
Yeah.
But because there's a lot of dams. There's the Rotterdam. There's actually that's the only one.
That's the only one that I know.
Yeah, I think that's the only one I want. It's a beautiful place. Yeah. So one thing that's weird is trending is cafes are getting so cool that they want to have a no laptop policy after 12.
In the afternoon?
Yeah.
Oh.
And that is like super annoying. Like I'm not going to shout them out because I think they're beautiful, this space in Nord. And it's like all concrete, like super well designed, like amber square lights, like plants, very vibey, and especially in the cloudy atmosphere of Amsterdam, it's like the place that you want to sit and just work.
Yeah.
Not really, very limited distractions, a cozy feelings, excellent coffee. The coffee bar's in the middle, big tables, lots of outlets.
Very cool.
I sit down and they're like, hey, just so you know,
we're implementing our new policy.
We're implementing a policy. It's like you can't have your laptop out after 12. And I look at the clock and it's 12:13. And I took a ferry to get here because this is like the way that Amsterdam is you have the city, then you have a big river, and then it's a free ferry that runs back and forth all day.
Yeah.
So I'm like kind of complaining, but it's not a big deal. And I'm like, I tell the guy, I'm like, dude, I took the ferry to get here. And he's like, all right,
bad.
well, like,
Sit
sorry.
outside, loser.
And you got to respect it because what they're trying to create, maybe this is somehow linked to social media. They really do want to create an environment where people are intentionally just there and present. So some of those places I have to keep a watch out for. Some places are no laptops at all. They want to curate a vibe. Mm-hmm. They want to curate, hey, this isn't a co-working space. This is a cafe. The Hoxton exists. So little hotels are really nice. There's like hip hotels you can work from. And you actually find mostly those digital nomad types working there. There's a library. There's a lot of libraries, and they're like very well designed.
Very cool. Like you visited some like what seemed like a famous architectural building site.
Dude, there's
or a few of them at some point.
There are so many.
That I saw a photo set of, I don't know what it is. I'm not going to be able to say the name.
What did it look like? Was it futuristic or?
What would be the other?
I guess classical.
It wasn't classical. It was futuristic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Some people call it technocratic over there.
Technocratic.
That's a term. I have a list now of all the new words. Brian Eno started this.
People use, yeah.
And I was like,
elsewhere.
That's genius. I'm just gonna start adding, but things like neoliberalism. I was like, what?
I've heard that word before, maybe once or twice.
I was talking to somebody, and I'm like, hey, look, I'm gonna be just straight with you. I hear this word all the time. And this person just used it. I'm like, what does it mean?
Great.
And he
I
was
love that you asked the questions. That's a hard question for some people.
He goes, I actually don't know.
That's what I thought.
Like, how are you defining it? And I think there's like an association with the color blue. That's it.
Neoliberalism, blue?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Because of Facebook and Twitter and social. I don't know. There was like an association. But technocratic is one that I am just amped on because you don't even have to tell me what that means. I like knew what it meant the second that it was used.
I don't have any synonyms for technocratic.
Exactly.
Maybe
right, but
neoliberalism.
Yeah, right. These neoliberal technocratic.
What would that even be? That would be more just liberal, right? A technocratic.
Yeah. I mean, when you're there, it does feel dystopian and like there's a lot of dissonance between the old city and then when you go to the edges of the city, the newest parts are all modern, futuristic. And I mean, from a design background, like if you were to hit me up in college and show me these buildings, I would be stoked. They're implementing some incredible design ideals. It's not the boring like prefab slabs squares that go up. You know, there's a little bit of intention.
Yeah.
And they definitely shape the environment when there's nothing there but flat ground.
Yeah. Not a lot of hills.
No, it's the flattest country in Europe. That's why biking's popular. I think.
You're still biking out there?
Yeah.
Did you get a new bike or did you bring yours?
No, I bought a good Dutch bike.
Good. That's good. I don't have a bike right now. I got my last one stolen. Or one of them got stolen. One of them I completely bent in my frame, the front of my frame, so I had to just scrap it, and I haven't got one since. But that's pretty sick that you're biking.
It's still the number one crime though in Amsterdam is bike theft.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bikes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bikes there.
More than people, I believe.
I hope so.
Yeah.
The dystopian sense that you're describing feels like that is what progression looks like, unfortunately.
Oh, even that. What is progress? Like, whose idea of progress?
You're saying you're implementing, the city, the country as a whole is implementing like positive, architecture, stuff that is adaptive to the elements, I assume, stuff that's maybe more eco-friendly.
Yeah,
that
all those are
maybe
included.
with different materials that we wouldn't use 40 years ago, and that's the dissonance that's created. But it's not just dissonance, it is literally just distance.
Mm-hmm.
We have such a huge, like, on a timeline, it's not that many years, but because of the digital era, we've created a lot more years that we can't write on paper, kind of.
Yeah.
There's just like a lot. We've learned so much so fast that it seems like we don't have any choice but to start to create a dystopian future, whatever. I know that that's like, there's negative connotation to that word, but I, for one, would like, to look forward and see perfection, and that's what dystopia is, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously it's not like there are these evil people sitting in a room building these and nobody wants them.
Yeah. Specifically talking about the home, like the most modern, construction sites in Amsterdam we're talking about.
Exactly.
Like I don't think that there are evil people in there either,
No.
Are there evil people building the newest skyrise in the middle of downtown Chicago? Probably, but they're not implementing the change that we're talking about because they're building up instead of building out, and they're not necessarily utilizing the space correctly, in my opinion.
If there's one thing that like really, really hit me coming back here, I was in the new WeWork building. A friend had invited me, and
Here?
yeah, and they built it less than a block away from the old WeWork building.
Did they just leave the other WeWork building completely empty?
I don't know. I have no idea what's going on in there, but everybody was working from home, so
I did not. I did not. That's really funny, actually. Watch that series. There's a series on WeWork where Jared Leto's like crazy in it or something.
Oh, that sounds fun. I thought there was a documentary and people got really woke to WeWork, and then WeWork apologized and they fixed it all.
Oh, maybe that's what we're talking about.
But
I just thought Jared Leto
I kind of want to
was
see
in
Jared Leto going crazy at a WeWork.
it. Okay, maybe I didn't describe it very good, but I think that he's in the show the documentary you're talking. It's a docudrama, maybe?
Maybe, yeah, that could be.
Totally not important.
There were so many big tech takedown docs of the past 2 years.
Yeah.
That I haven't gotten a chance to see all of them.
Yeah.
There was a Spotify one, didn't see it. Definitely watched the Theranos one.
I didn't watch it.
No.
Theranos. I heard about
the Dropout. It was.
I did watch that, actually.
Yeah.
Amanda Seyfried or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent job.
Not or whatever. That's her name. Sorry.
But I think just being in that WeWork and also like knowing the rest of the city, I would say the difference between Amsterdam and here is that um, it feels rich. Amsterdam feels rich even if you're not rich. And that's because they pay attention to like the public access to things like public transportation, the streets, all of the things that people actually use no matter your income level.
Yeah.
And I feel taken care of there.
Yeah.
I come here and I was like,
yo, I gotta spend all this money on this bus.
I literally hop on a CTA that's late and it's not great. It smells, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And Chicago allegedly has the best public transport system in the United States.
Which speaks volumes to the actual service that you're using.
Yes. and then you look at like the crooked sidewalks and the way people are just kind of slapping down whatever road for 8 years. They're still building the same highway piece. And I'm like, okay, how do you build this super nice futuristic building here in the center of West Loop that they broke a permit? I think they got like new zoning or something because Hoxton was supposed to be the highest. And then they built like 20 floors higher than that. And they have another one going
since
up.
the Hoxton, yes, that's true. Within the past, 3 years?
I don't know how that's possible.
It's insanity.
But
I don't understand zoning either. I just know that there's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through, and there's people that you can pay off probably.
yeah.
You know?
And you can do all of this in this one area and watch West Loop transform completely from, I don't know, like a market 10 years ago to what it is today. And nobody's ever getting kicked back in the other neighborhoods that are suffering. And I mean legitimately suffering. Like true impoverished communities, food deserts, all of that. It's just such a sense of individualism and tax evasion. And then tax misuse at the top. That's like, what the heck?
It's really easy to become a 501c3, 3C, 501c3.
Yeah.
A nonprofit, and all those people just dump money into their nonprofits and they wash that money, baby.
Yeah.
I don't actually know if that's true, but that's I'm really developing a thesis right now that has to do with you attend church, I know, but it's kind of offensive and a big argument, but I want to see churches, religion as a whole, not be tax exempt in the United States.
Okay.
Because the whole what is in question is whether or not tax exemption is a privilege, and it isn't a privilege.
Sure.
Everybody should have. Nobody should be free of that. And I think that religion and nonprofits as a whole, that all of those organizations have created the grayest area, have created like the largest Ponzi scheme in history, in my opinion.
I would say that it really depends, because some churches are absolutely for profit, like in a lot of ways, with a lot of endeavors. Like, you're not wrong in that. I think there are some that, like, yeah, if you attend this community, you want to put money into that community because it's helping you personally firsthand, and then other people, right, through those initiatives. Awesome. But when I go to a place that has like the fanciest lights I've ever seen, the most modern keyboard, and it is basically like the newest venue in the city,
in the vicinity, right? And not even in the city. On
top of that, they're selling albums, they're selling shirts, they're selling books, all of this, and then still considered a 501c3.
Yeah,
that makes me sad.
It's very interesting, and that I think that's a contributing factor to why West Loop looks the way it looks. Not religion in general, but I think that the people that are making those decisions down there have found a way to liquefy their money through those things. Yeah. And create the things in place within Chicago. And I'm trying to put all of Chicago's really crooked history in one theory, and it's not happening, and I can't. So
I think that's why we can't solve it. Because it's impossible to build the timeline. True.
Everybody has different reasons to build those big buildings, you know. My dad works in in that industry where he is the person fixing like the huge machines. And like it's such a trickle down at that point that like I have been like forced to believe throughout my lifetime that like laborers owe it to all those rich people kind of.
Oh, this is gonna, yeah, this is literally the oppression of capitalism.
Yeah. But like having the opportunity to think about it and discussion and think that maybe we could develop enough theses and really push back on them is where the space I've been in for a while now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of complex arguments though, so it's like I said, it's like you can't put it all into one, but
Yeah, what I will say that being able to see this, I regret not being as supportive as I could or being aware as I could to people's movements, to labor movements that are fighting for a better future in neighborhoods like Pilsen where I lived, where things are happening and people are fighting for this or that, and I'm just like, oh, that's cool. That's their problem.
A big thing about labor movements though is that they do seize the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
We only missed it before because we weren't in the situation that we were in when the George Floyd strikes happened, and when everybody really got out there, and it was a huge, if that wasn't a labor movement, but that was a movement, and any radical act like that, like part of it is the opportunity as a whole is that we were able to open our eyes and understand,
Yeah.
And that was a big part. And that's like, I think it was part of the reason why it was socially acceptable to speak out about like Black and brown communities. It created that social change, or that social change where we weren't talking about it before because we didn't have the opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah.
Not that things weren't happening that we were aware of. Like things were happening, but we really it was just a different atmosphere at the time. And for labor movements especially, because that's even more specific than what I like that movement, labor movements are hard to get to take hold of and to be able to enact change. Labor movements are really hard. Like Starbucks is an example. Like they're pretty well structured now and they're paid decently, but it took them a long time to organize and to be able to get the benefits that they have now. What was the other one? Trader Joe's. I think that a lot of people don't have the same benefits across the U.S. because some Trader Joe's have unionized. I can't remember exactly what's going on with them, but that's another like labor movement thing where it's like, yeah, it would have been nice to have been able to help sooner, but we didn't really see it. It wasn't really happening as quick. I don't know.
I mean, oftentimes it's just a language issue, like where now we have the language about these things, and it's been made relevant because the most powerful use of language is storytelling. And yes, George Floyd happened, but there was so many other instances. This one particular event hit a nerve, and it told the perfect story that people could latch onto and maybe for once in their lives understand or react to. Mm-hmm. Or somebody trying to use an example. Nobody's aware of all the other misjustices that are happening, but now they know this one. Now I can talk to you about the thing that I've been studying and talking about, preaching about for 10 years that you were never listening to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that said, though, I really you said that you were taking classes online and they were Spanish, right?
Yeah,
you said
Spanish language
and living over there, being able to compare it to Chicago, it's very interesting because I meant to also reiterate that I'm talking about exemption in the United States, because I do believe that religion is treated a lot differently in Europe. I do believe that when I've only been to Europe one time and we were in Greece for 10 days, and it just is like less, it's not fucked with as much.
I mean, it's
I understand, like,
majority
Rome, like the
atheist.
Vatican and the Pope, like that. Catholicism is just a much grander religion in Europe, I think, and like there are a lot of rich Catholics
Yeah.
in the U.S. I'm not saying that, but I do think that like it's just an older world that has like deeper roots that like speaks. It just speaks differently to religion, and there's it's just about the U.S. So it's very interesting. This is a great conversation. This is a good. I have to.
I did find out like so many things that were like American things that I never would have thought were American things.
Mayonnaise, ketchup.
The Dutch do mayo so well.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, my mind.
Oh, but they do it differently and
my
better.
mind has been blown on basil mayo, truffle mayo, and I'm not talking like jarred stuff. I'm talking like fresh made, poured over your frites. It is just.
We have. I'll hand it to the U.S. Like, we've got fun stuff.
We've got
fun stuff.
We have dyes. We've got corn syrup. We got fat and salt.
We have cinema. We have.
Wait. Are you saying we don't have? There's no cinema overseas in another country?
No, I'm just saying like American cinema as a whole.
Hollywood.
I think is pretty pop. Like,
yeah,
globally, American cinema like is.
Yeah.
They fluff it up. Like we've got that. We got, like you said, dyes, corn syrup.
We do have pop music.
We have pop. Oh boy, do we have pop music.
And it's I don't know what, nobody's really cracked it until Korea recently, I feel, with pop music.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of, I don't know. I don't, if you, we have like rock. I think we have rock more than we have pop rock more than we have like straight pop, because I think like Europe had a really big pop phase.
Sure.
Before like.
Oh yeah, there's definitely European pop music.
Yeah.
But when you talk about what's dominating,
we're very clean with it.
And
yes.
I think we started to flex rap a little bit more, and then now it's like rap is just super casual and pop music. When I think when we were kids, rap was totally different.
Yeah.
It's a totally different genre.
Yeah. That's
It's something I've heard though. People are like, "Oh yeah, in Americans, like everybody like tries to rap." And I'm like, "Oh, I hate that you're not wrong."
Yeah. You've heard that recently?
Oh yeah.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Oh yeah.
Should be like, what about our DIY scene?
Yeah, and I love the questions that.
Have you found any DIY venues in Amsterdam? Are they a thing?
Amsterdam has a major squatter scene.
So that calls for festivals in the streets?
Oh my gosh. No. More than that. Like, squatting is like institutionalized, where like you'll be at this like really dope bar. Maybe it's screamo, maybe it's techno. And you're wondering, oh, it's a cash only bar. Oh, whatever. This is great. Sound system's great. People are vibing. There's art on the walls. Finally, one of your friends says, yeah, man, it's crazy. I love these squatter places. And you're like, wait, what? Yeah, it's a squatter bar. What?
Oh, they own the bar?
Yeah. Like, yeah. So there's a lot more rights in the Netherlands in the way that they view property. And
very interesting.
When you say own,
they don't own it.
That's like the antithesis to squatting. Yeah.
Oh, they choose to not own it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They just occupy it. They occupy like a space in like a downtown area that on Friday nights, Saturday nights turns into a thriving music venue.
That's sick.
And yeah, or there'll be restaurants, and it'll be like €4 and you get a 3-course meal of people who are just really passionate about cooking and they're trying out new recipes. And it's just like, yeah, this is a squatter restaurant.
What?
Yeah.
I'm trying to work there, dude.
So DIY, it's DIY like everything.
Extreme.
So yeah, I scene wise, I mean, it's great. And I think even Americans that come through really love it, because then you hear other musicians that play and all sorts of genres, and they're like celebrated, and
yeah,
you see it. Like there's a subculture for everything.
That's pretty sick.
You just gotta know where to find it, I guess.
So I'm gonna have to make my way out to Amsterdam. Sounds like they'll take me with open arms, to be honest.
Bring your equipment and honestly just bring in like a bunch of people.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Oh, I ironically don't have a microwave, but there are microwaves in Amsterdam.
There are microwaves in Amsterdam.
Rest assured.
I premeditated not doing a meal on this one, but I will say that there are bun kebabs in my freezer that we could eat, but I don't think they're very good.
Okay.
I'm kind of nervous about them.
Did you test them?
No, they're a 7-Eleven find.
Oh, rough.
I guess I'm gonna wait till the next season so that I can film it, because they're really goofy looking, and I think that they're gonna not look like the photograph on the package. That's the best part about this show, is being able to disprove the images on the packaging.
Yeah.
It's never accurate, and
they should just paint them at that point. Like, why do they have to show you?
I don't know, a fake thing. Yeah,
it's microwave food. Have a little fun.
Yeah,
Make a cartoon. Use it to like sell some poor lonely comics version of your food.
Yeah. That would be that's a great idea. Write that down. Who's ever listening?
Think about the people who are buying microwave food. They're not looking for your highly detailed fake photography.
Absolutely. I completely agree. There's been some nasty ones. There's been some unfilmable ones, might I add. But anyway, I premeditated not doing a microwave meal.
Premeditate is, I only ever hear that in the context of like murder.
Sorry.
But,
I didn't want to kill us. That's the thing.
But I mean, it's an accurate use of the word, I think.
Maybe it isn't. I don't know. That's a good question. Or that's a good thought.
Or it also, for some reason, makes me think that while you eat the microwave food, you meditate. So you're like, I premeditated, so we're not eating.
Yes, that one. It is a meditative process, eating the microwave meal, because you have to think of a good review for it. Dank or not dank. That was the thing. Was it dank or is it not dank? Those are the only choices you get at the end of the show. So now we can just decide at the end of this episode if this was a dank or not dank conversation. Sure. Right now, I think it's pretty dank. I think it's going really well. I also think it's because we're coming to the table with some good thoughts.
There we go.
Yeah. It's been a long time. Though we met at Sawada the last time.
Yeah, we did right before you left. Leaving. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good conversation then too.
It really was. I think an accurate conversation.
Yeah.
For like where the next few months we're heading.
Yeah. I remember mostly talking about making movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was a big part of the conversation. That was just the through line for everything we were talking about, was how it related to making movies in some fashion.
Yeah.
But I'm not making a movie right now. I'm just saying.
That's a bummer. I'm currently on that path. I think that's like, I had a good talk with my friend, basically like, so obviously you're also a multimedia artist. This is deja vu. I feel like I said that exact setup.
I think so too. Yeah.
And visual storytelling for me has been the most effective way of both receiving and creating for me, because I can be introverted and, isolate myself and have a bunch of really deep esoteric thoughts. At the same time, the only thing that's ever made it worth it for me is when I can share it with a community and they jump onto it and we all kind of play our part. And I love that aspect of film. So, you can get in there, be a little writer and knock something out, but then watch it come to life through the minds of other people. And to me, that's beautiful. And yeah, I think I've been able to find stories and that uniqueness and rawness and real life that happens. So, I don't think it stopped.
Yeah. You said, that it's a good process. I think that you're a fan of that. I think you're an advocate for that process.
Yeah.
I think that's where the multimedia art gets kind of like not thrown to the side, but it gets almost it gets mistreated because it's really the reason why you touch so many different mediums is because you're just interested in in some kind of result, into seeing a change, implementing some kind of change to that medium is like is something that I think that was the reason why it ended up, we were talking about film in general, is because the grounding of the conversation was that we both worked in completely different fields and mediums, but still found a general interest and there was just themes throughout, even though it was different experiences that were like similar. And like, yeah, I do think the long process of making a movie is actually super exciting. And that is why when people get in it, they never leave. It's like, that guy's been a filmmaker his entire life, is like, that's what a lot of people say about a lot of filmmakers, It's just as revered as fine artists at this point to me. Absolutely. And I don't even know that many filmmakers, Sure. And there are, there's a lot of, I have a much smaller rock to skip across the pond, It goes far, but it doesn't, I don't know where it goes.
but I see the thread line, because I think you've always been someone that's very driven by the community aspect of things. It's like, for me, it's never been just justice. It's like you have your hands in all these things, but it's not just going to stay here. It's almost immediately, instantaneously, or at least that's how I perceive it, like ejected back out into the ether, and not like for a personal brand of sorts, but like, yeah, I'm working with so-and-so, or like, this is actually going to be this collection with so-and-so, or we're going to have this DIY show at my house, and all these artists are going to come, and this is where you're
nobody's going to know my name.
Nobody's going to know my name, because I keep changing it.
Yeah.
But for real, and in movies and film and in series and things like that, you're not just playing with this typical roles, right? You're playing with all sorts of artists. You can literally bring, I think, any medium into the medium of film. If you're
That's
a painter,
true.
a sculptor,
That's very true.
And let's just say you're just such an interesting person that you can't contribute. Well, guess what? You might be the story.
Yeah, that's true. Like, that kind of shows in celebrity, the people that live within celebrity now, like, some people got their break and were just such interesting individuals that they were fun to film, and it worked out really well that's like, I feel like that's how people get typecasted, is what we're talking about. But it's like, literally, like, some people just play into their true selves, and it ends up being this character that they play for a lot of roles, unfortunately. But that's like,
yeah,
the filmmaker that found them probably felt how we feel, what we're talking about. I don't know where were we talking about, Suwana? I don't know. I was thinking about coffee.
That was our connection.
It's almost time for coffee, I think. I'm thinking about that.
Late night decaf.
Yeah, I don't have decaf, or I would. There's the pre-shift is going to be the next episode. So I want everybody here, including you, to tune in to hear the recap of this conversation at my next conversation.
I will have a pre-shift drink.
Yes, that's it.
Listening to the pre-shift.
That's exactly what it is. It's to get your day started. It's a great idea. And it is always in the morning. Yeah. The microwave minutes, the real episodes, always happen like this late. Perfect. It's supposed to be like after a shift,
Oh,
when you're like spent, you just want to throw something in the microwave.
Yeah.
But then the pre-shift is always before the shift, and it just has it's a different tone. It's faster conversation. It definitely it moves just in the similar fashion where it's open-ended and very much like no format.
No.
But it moves faster because it seems like people, like I've had like Jesse sit in for a pre-shift and he just, is ready to get the day started. We start drinking coffee, and as soon as that caffeine kicks, we're like, okay, we gotta go.
Wow.
Which is fun.
But that's actually such a good context to have, because I feel like I'm always looking for something to decompress my mind, and I just go to a screen or something else. Oh, maybe I'm destroying the idea of making a video again. No. I don't think video would ruin it. You can have it on the background. You can only peek over when Justice is ready to pop the boy in the microwave. But
that's true. That's a good idea too. But I understand what yeah.
But I mean, like, it's like, man, sometimes I work late and like you have your head like ringing, and you just need to turn everything off and like listen to something chill. Because you can't listen to your own thoughts. Your own thoughts are annoying at that point.
If your ears are ringing, you might have tinnitus, and you need to get your ears checked, by the way.
That is true.
Don't go deaf. Wear a hearing aid. It's cool.
And if those ringings turn into voices,
then
see a therapist.
Then we can transition to mental health right now if you really want to. Because that's a whole other hour. We're good. We could talk about it for a little bit. Okay. The video format is going to happen, because even this, if it was lit properly and that wasn't a window behind you, I think it would be a nice, just complete room.
Sure.
Blocking that window has been a thought. I used to have a room divider.
Yeah. You could just green screen this.
That's true.
And have the videos playing in that green screen with blinds and all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I haven't even thought of that, to be honest. So I might congrats, that's my idea now.
Please take it. Everything I say on here is actually intellectual property of Microwave Minutes.
That's not true. It's all rights reserved.
Makes you sign a waiver beforehand.
No, there's no waiver. Anybody can come. I was supposed to do this chef from Colorado, and I don't know what happened to him. So Dennis, if you're listening, call me.
Is he on social media?
I can't remember. Yeah, it's like Chef Dennis.
He might be dead.
He's
sorry. I had to get a call back in there.
He might be fucking dead. Joke's on me.
Chef Dennis, DM Justice if you're not dead.
Thank you. I appreciate it in advance. I haven't had a skater yet either. I got to get somebody that skates to just school me on my skateboarding. That's a goal.
I saw this exhibit in it's called the Hermitage Museum, and it was a love exhibit with all sorts of versions of love, from romantic love to scandalous love to whatever. Okay, so then there's this portrait. There's a photograph. And it's a bride and a groom, and it's beautiful, except it looks a little weird because the groom's not in a suit. And it was this photographer would literally just pull people off the street into their studio and take photos with them. And it was like, how special is like a wedding photo, but actually it's just a random
just
guy.
Two random people.
That could be a Microwave Minute.
I could pull a stranger off the street, you're implying?
I mean, I'm totally implying. On video, just like, hey, are you hungry? You want to talk?
Oh.
Yeah,
the chances of that guy being a squatter are very likely, is what you're saying?
Could be.
I would be down. There's a homeless guy that hangs out in our neighborhood.
I mean, not to exploit people,
Sorry, houseless.
But
I'm not gonna exploit him. I'm gonna give him a meal.
But exactly.
If the show makes profits, he can get a cut too.
Sure.
I'm not saying he don't get a cut. I'm saying that right now there isn't a cut. Somebody's got to have the meal instead.
Yeah. But anybody, I don't know. I feel like that's like dicey though, because if you put it into like a verbal format, you don't know what you're gonna get. That's a worse roulette. Like a photo is one thing. Like
you just don't publish it.
Yeah,
that's
true. Well,
I'd be willing to take that risk.
Like 3 times, and then you're like, screw this.
Yeah.
You don't know what lies
people off
underneath
the street is fucking me up.
You give them a microphone, and you're just screwed. Like
it's 11:30 at night. What the fuck?
Yeah.
have you listen? Nah. I was gonna ask you way at the beginning of this episode, right? Episode 20. Let me double check
29.
that. 29. Thank you.
I turned 29 this month, so.
Oh, kept it in the age range for sure.
It resonated with me. Yeah, if I was a little bit older, I couldn't make it here.
Wow, that's wild. So episode 29, I was going to recap a little bit of the last episode, but I kind of did by spieling about the pre-shift. It was a pre-shift.
Okay.
It was right when Roe versus Wade was overturned. Talked about that for a little bit.
That was the last episode?
Yeah.
I understand why there was a gap.
Yeah. But we are one of the, beacon states, which is nice. There are not that many. Sure. I know California, New York, and I believe Massachusetts.
Makes sense.
There's a few, but most of our country, according to reproductive rights website, the Center for Reproductive Rights, which is hiring a CMO, which would be sick. It's a dream job right there. But it's probably a woman. I sent it to Hannah and I was like, this would be an awesome job. Like, I would love to be in charge of to be in charge of their marketing. And she said, isn't that a woman's job? And I was like, well, yeah, but it doesn't mean that I can't, right? Like, I can maybe try. Anyway, according to the website, a lot of those states are still in the red.
Yeah.
Like, it's either illegal or it's what's the step underneath illegal? I don't even know. It's just like not accepted. You still can't get it. You can't get an abortion now in certain states, and it's really fucked up to me. Yeah. So that was part one of the pre-shift. So yeah, it unpacks a little bit in the morning too. It's not really a meditative thing, but the other thing was the EPA. I was talking about how the Environmental Protection Agency was trending for a day because of XYZ, and then it was completely off the radar the next. So a little bit about socials. Okay.
Okay.
And then I think movies. So that's what I was going to ask you.
There we go.
You got a holiday Christmas list? Or, yeah, a holiday movie Christmas list.
So it's like, I think I might see White Christmas on Friday.
Well, what's White Christmas?
Music box. I don't know. I thought it was an old movie.
White Christmas.
And then I've still never to this day seen It's a Wonderful Life. It just kind of plays on TVs, but I've never watched it.
It's a good movie. I don't really remember it.
Yeah, it just plays.
It's a pleasant movie, yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't really plan on any.
I don't know if
Christmas movies.
Yeah. Any?
Yeah, what a genre.
What a genre is right. It's expansive.
This is gonna be like a little bit of research here. I actually did listen to the last Requiem for a Tuesday.
That's pretty sick.
I love what Adam was saying.
That's called doing your fucking homework.
About the genre of Christmas music, and that's where he got me. I was like, it's a specific genre.
Yeah, it's not something that I want to listen to. Really
you don't
often.
play this music or anything that sounds like it throughout the year, and I thought that point was so good. The same with Christmas movies.
Yeah.
And which
he didn't really talk about, I don't think.
No, he didn't. And but I think you can bring it back and finish up that conversation. When you want to talk about screenwriting, you talk about motivation. Movies have what's called primal motivations. Mm-hmm. And you can break any movie down into the primal motivation, death, sex, things like primal. The motivation of Christmas movies.
Christmas?
Is Christmas.
Wow. That's there's nothing primal about it. We were not meant to be enjoying anything at that time in the middle of winter with several feet on the ground. strangers walking through your chimney, like.
No, I mean you could tell a story like Castaway. A plane falls, a man must survive and discover himself with the hope of making it back to civilization. Cool, thanks Tom Hanks. Then
Is there a Christmas scene? Oh, there is a Christmas scene.
there's a
Forrest
little
Gump.
bit. Okay, a little Christmas in there.
Christmas.
But it's not a Christmas movie. Maybe I would count it as a Christmas movie. But the Christmas movies are like, yeah. So Arnold Schwarzenegger is he's not doing good as a dad, and he's got to do well for Christmas.
He's got to make ends meet for Christmas.
Yeah.
That is not ever, at least recently, like a main plot line of a Christmas movie. Is like how hard the dad has to work to make his Christmas come true.
No, they thought that was too primal. They're like, this is too much about father-son drama.
Yeah.
We need more Christmas.
You picked a good. That's like a really fun Christmas movie to try to pick apart.
Maybe that's one that would actually be on my Christmas list, or my Christmas watch list. Christmas with the Cranks, right? Like,
that's Allen. Tim
Allen. We got to set up a Christmas party.
Have you? Do you have a top?
Whew.
Do you have a top Christmas movie?
Good question.
I really like Gremlins.
Oh my gosh! If you count that as a Christmas movie,
It's a Christmas movie. It happens on Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah, but
That's up there.
everybody watches during Halloween though, because it's like it's a horror thing.
Yeah,
But-
Halloween is Gremlins 2.
It's in New York, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like that's just a nightmare for Hollywood. Like, well, how did they let that happen?
I don't know.
But
As in, it's bad.
it's so bad. Gremlins 2.
I tried to watch it just when I watched Gremlins maybe last week, and I couldn't even pay attention. It's not very good.
I watched Shrek the Halls on the flight here.
Oh, I've never seen it.
It's 28 minutes.
Is it good?
Are
they singing?
I was pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
Shrek is probably one of the few movies that made a successful sequel.
Shrek 2 is amazing.
Yeah.
Shrek 3 I don't know anything about,
No, me neither.
but Shrek 2 really nailed it.
Shrek 2 nailed it, but Shrek the Halls, man, they just parody, little Christmas things. Shrek's first Christmas. Ogres don't do Christmas.
Hell yeah.
So that might be my top. I already watched my favorite Christmas movie.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen Jingle All the Way
Since
in
the
maybe
90s.
15 years, and I've got to watch it now.
Oh,
It's on Stars.
that movie is so good.
Yeah, you really.
Oh, Bill Murray's Scrooge.
I've never seen Scrooged.
Oh,
That's one for you.
yeah.
That's a
For
top
sure.
one.
Like, so many of just Bill Murray's movies.
I did. We did Krampus last night
I didn't.
or 2 nights ago.
I actually have never seen Krampus. I
It's
feel like
from
I've always.
2015. and
Yeah.
it's
Oh, I
fun.
remember when that came out.
It's fun. It's really fun.
It's a
and
Christmas horror.
It is. It's Christmas horror. What's his name is in it? I don't remember his name. The guy from Parks and Rec, Ben from
Ben
Parks
Affleck?
and Rec. I don't
Okay.
remember his name.
No.
But not important because they're all really fun. The whole cast is a lot of fun, and I'm not gonna ruin it. It's just like a lot of horror.
Yeah.
It's like Krampus is like Satan essentially,
Yeah.
which is a lot of fun through the whole movie. You don't expect it.
What a different legend.
It just keeps going and going and going. The whole movie just gets more and more over the top till there's like
He like.
holes of lava underneath the snow, and you're like,
Oh
what is
my
going
gosh.
on?
Is it on the spectrum of like horror? Is it like Thanksgiving on one side? Have you ever seen Thanksgiving?
No. Is it a lot
What,
of?
like
It's not a lot of
Sharknado?
gore.
What, like Sharknado? Like
It-
like campy
not-
horror.
It's kind of campy, yeah.
Okay, that's what I was trying to fit it into. Were they trying to go, serious
What would be a serious?
horror movie? Yeah, probably Silence of the Lambs. Like,
Okay, so it's like way towards the Sharknado side. It's nowhere near the Silence of the Lambs side.
that's great.
Um,
Just like too many ridiculous things that you have to believe to make this movie work.
yeah.
but it's still freaking you out somehow.
Well, I guess to close it up, how do we feel about Kanye West?
Oh. My favorite tweet was the one from like 3 years ago that said, "You guys got to stop gassing Kanye up before he gets to the Hitler was a good guy phase."
Oh.
And that was posted in like 2019.
True.
Uh,
True that.
no, if I'm being honest, with less sensationalized news and celebrities at the forefront, it's been pretty easy to turn away from all that
Yep.
drama. And
It's true. It was a lot easier to ignore than we thought.
yeah,
And unfortunately, we ignored it to the point where he is like a homeless person. I'm just gonna second that point.
but speaking of Kanye, I just like,
Yeah, we'll play you out with a Kanye song. Don't worry, everybody. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. We won't talk about it. Everybody knows I have a stem player.
I love the stem player.
I also was approached by people when he said that, like, "Hey, what about your boy?" And I was like, I can't. I don't know how to. I'm not defending the guy.
I mean, I don't think it's your fault for appreciating somebody's innovation in music, and that person comes out and says something ridiculously anti-Semitic and
Right.
manic.
Right. I mean, it's a good conversation because it's and I want to believe that for me it's the end of like admiring celebrity in the capacity that I did. You know, it didn't take much, but it's enough for me to be like, okay, this was okay to like keep up with until these people that put this guy on a pedestal let him say that shit, you know.
I feel bad for the people that surrounded him because Kanye was kind of a face of an operation of people who saw him as this, yeah, sure, like a messianic figure, but or whatever.
Yeah.
He was the doorway to start creating music differently.
Yeah.
Whether that be whatever hip hop or pop, and like you have a stem play in your hand. Do you think Kanye sat and invented that?
Exactly.
And no, it was a team of people operating under whatever mission
a different
statement.
Company too, you know? It was just a completely different thing. But that's the thing is the ideas are there, but his beliefs aren't in line with that, in my opinion.
It's a representation. I don't ever like. I don't want to say I don't like blaming an individual. I like to look at things, and understand all the components that are happening and what you can kind of like take apart. I was having a conversation with a friend today about like blaming the schools. Like I hate when people blame the school system. Like they never really wanted you to learn. Like no, I know a lot of people, like a lot of teachers that are struggling to even make a decent living salary, and they're sacrificing a lot. They're not part of this crazy scheme. Like there's other components involved.
Yeah. No, I also don't. I'm in school now for the second time for like college, the second time in my life, and it's like I literally just didn't utilize it to the same capacity that I do now.
Sure.
You know, I literally wasn't. It was completely underutilized, and students really like you have a lot of exterior, you know, a lot of outside factors playing into your decision to go to school, but at the end of the day, like you're choosing to be there and choosing not to be there if you are supposed to be there, and how much you take advantage of that school system really depends. You know, the more, regardless of, it is not blaming it upon an individual either. I'm not either, but, everybody knows that what Hitler did was very, very bad. Mentally ill or not, you could consider the fact that other people know that he didn't do good to this world. So no matter how much you changed the world up until that point, like you're letting that evil in. And his whole thing was also like how he finds God, and like repents and comes back and like does good. You can't, like, Hitler didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't act like even if he had good ideas, you can't say that because he did more harm to to our history. It's just fucking silly, dude. That's some dumbass shit. Sorry.
Hitler's whack.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's very. I really also didn't. I've never really studied, World War II
Sure.
or anything on the matter. All it took was like a documentary when I was a child, when we were kids, to be like, oh, that guy was bad.
Sure.
We should never idolize that, right? It's like you're letting so much evil in by saying that that's acceptable.
And it's like what's the even any point in defending it? It's not like there was some radical ideology at play that we were just missing.
No, we knew the radical ideologies.
Exactly.
And they were crazy. Like, that was crazy. And so people still put Hitler into power as they did put Kanye into power,
Yeah.
and I think still on the same topic of like, you're letting the same evil in, like, there is going to be a ripple effect to what just happened too, with all of this that's happening with him, and it's going to continue to fall out, and it's going to take like more pushback against him. It's going to be more. It needs to be more of kind of like a fuck you, Kanye.
Yeah.
Because if we continue to if he keeps getting onto networks and saying those things, like, it's just gonna fuel those people that feel that way. Really, the people that are fueled by that radical ideology of fucking Hitler.
Yeah.
It's like scary, and I don't respect it at all. And drop it. Unsave all of his music for a little bit. Maybe forever. Just for a little bit. Just
don't pre-save his new album
get
on
those.
Spotify.
Yeah, that's what's good. If that's what happens next, oh my God, I'm gonna flip. Not in a good way. It's going to be really upsetting, to be honest. It's gonna be really upsetting. Just because everybody's gonna. That's the thing, is everybody will continue to talk about it too. I'm gonna have to sell the stem player. Luckily, it's the only thing that I have of his. Y'all better sell all your Yeezys.
That's what people are saying right now with the whole Balenciaga thing. Is like,
sell it, get rid of it.
Well, they're like, I don't even want to sell it because it's not gonna sell. Like, like no one's gonna even want to buy it. People are like, I'll keep all the stuff that doesn't have the logo on it, and I'll still wear it. So
yeah.
Like, okay.
I noticed a hoodie from him, a Gap hoodie, a Yeezy Gap hoodie, and I was like, damn, you still wearing that, huh? I didn't say that, but sure. I was like, I grabbed their sweater. I was like, is this Gap?
Is this from the Gap?
Yeah.
Oh.
They were like, yeah, it's a Yeezy thing, and I was like, oh, okay. And and they had the shoes too. I was like, are those also Yeezys? They were like, yeah, they're really comfy, and I was like,
it was once an unproblematic lifestyle, and now you can't even wear your favorite sweater and shoes.
I feel like I heard that at least once. It's like, yeah, it's my favorite stuff. It's my favorite sweater. It's like, it's really comfy. That's what I hear all the time. They're really comfy. Okay.
Yeah. I don't like that it forces me to have opinions about things that I don't have or listen to anyway.
True. So, for the record, you have no opinion on the matter, and it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's the extent of my opinion of what I said. That is an opinion.
That's okay.
I don't think I've like followed it. Like, I haven't had an interest in it past that point. I think I kind of threw it out a little while ago with the drama. I think I stopped following anything Kanye related as soon as the Pete Davidson drama hit.
When was that? I don't remember when that was. It's
too long
that's
now.
that was a good stopping point.
It was like the seasons of Kanye, and it's like, yeah, I stopped at like season Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Hitler season, bro? It got
Which
canceled.
one?
it literally just lasted one episode, and they pulled the rest of the funding.
Thanks for stopping by, Joseph.
I really appreciate it.
This
Really.
has been a great conversation.
Always hospitable. Always great to run into you.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to cut this space out right now. I'm trying to think of a good way to end it. Actually,
Do you
there's
have
a big wait. So
freestyle rap?
I don't rap.
Everybody in
Trust me, I'm
everybody
not
in
an
America
American
raps.
trying to rap. I promise. You will never catch me.
They
You'll-
also here. I'll give you another fun fact. They have American themed parties where they special order red Solo cups. Because that's an American thing, and I had no idea.
That's jaw dropping. Have you been to one?
I did. I watched them play Pong, and then I stepped up, and they're like,
Oh, the American ones play.
why do you put the ping pong ball in the water? And I was like, I wanted to give him an answer, but I was like, I don't know. This is just how we play. Then everybody started doing it. You know, like,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
why do we do that?
It's.
There's no science.
I think it's because it weighs the ball down.
No, I know that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense.
Because I realized as I was about to explain it, I was about to give like a practical justification for something I have no idea if it works or not.
I definitely had to just cut us off. But thank you all for listening. This was a Microwave Minutes. And we'll talk real soon.
Mellow out. You could do multiplex out. You could do little. I think it's a. It might be a.